Obviously, Louisiana has pretty quickly become a hotspot. Give us an update on the situation there, just how dangerous you feel it is, whether you have the medical supplies, the hospital capacity that you feel you need to get through this.
Well, look, I think we're faring about as well as everyone else. Could it be better? Of course. Could it be worse? It could be. Again, probably the biggest supply kink that we have are things that we would need, and we're aggressively trying to pursue that, is actually ventilators. We don't believe that we're going to reach our peak until, let's say on April 10th, but I'm thinking somewhere between the 10th and the 15th after talking to medical doctors around Louisiana. New Orleans continues to be the hottest spot in the state. Of course, it's the most populated area of the state as well, and was kind of the epicenter for the South in regards to COVID-19 cases. We're having as many supply problems as probably other hotspots around the country. But I talk to our first-line medical providers on a pretty daily basis, and they seem to be pretty intact.
Now, you've been speaking out about price gouging online, on sites like Amazon, for example, saying that the company has basically been failing to tackle this, though they have removed some 4,000 sellers from the platform for this very reason. Are there, what do you think is the status of that right now? And can you tell me if there's any criminal investigations pending of Amazon or some of these other e-commerce platforms?
Well, we never do comment on whether or not we're seeking any type of criminal investigation on anyone. What I will tell you is that 33 attorney generals sent out a letter to a number of big platforms like Amazon and eBay and Craigslist and so forth. We did receive a response from Amazon and from eBay. I think their response was certainly adequate. We hope that their conduct continues. They removed a number of products off of their websites, and we're just asking them to constantly monitor those sites for price gouging, and of course, look, it's problematic in the environment that we're in. Price gouging is such a subjective test. It's based upon supply and demand, and so, unfortunately, AGs are placed in a unique position of trying to weigh the evidence of whether or not it's actually price gouging or whether it's in line with market conditions.
Now, is this something that you could pursue legal action against Amazon for, or only the third-party seller, given that the seller is directly responsible, but Amazon's carrying that seller on the website?
Well, I think that platforms, and I wouldn't single anybody out. I'm not going to just claim it's Amazon only. I think that any site that has been notified by us and that continues to not put proper protocols in place or procedures or filters, that certainly that's problematic for them. Like I said, I think eBay and Amazon were the only two that had responded. As far as I know to date, I could be wrong. There's a lot going on a daily basis in our offices. But that have responded to it, and so I couldn't tell you that Amazon is ignoring our particular request. They seem to be proactively trying to participate in the market and ensure that bad actors are taken off of their platform.
Now, Amazon workers have been pushing back about safety conditions. It's something we've been covering on our show, especially at warehouses. I know there are no Amazon warehouses in Louisiana, but certainly you've got tons of Amazon deliveries happening there. What would you want to see from Amazon when it comes to safety? And are you satisfied with the measures that seem to have been taken?
Yeah, I mean, look, what I would want from Amazon, I would want from any other company in the United States is certainly to respect the current crisis that we're in. But again, that's a respect that actually I believe goes both ways, both from employees, because I think they have a responsibility as well as employers. We are constantly out there sending a message to folks that if don't go to work if you're sick, right? If you're feeling, if you've been exposed to the virus, you need to let your employers know as well. And of course, on the flip side, we're encouraging employers to be conscientious of that and respectful of that particular part. It always does. I try to take a measured approach when it comes to employee-employer disagreements until we are able to see all of the facts that are presented. I hate to talk about one particular case, but again, I think it goes to everyone in the industry to try to take a measured, common sense approach as we try to work our way through this crisis.
Now, you've been pretty aggressive in some of these big tech regulatory probes, focusing on companies like Google and Facebook. Has the coronavirus outbreak slowed down those probes at all? And what can you tell us about status or progress?
Well, again, I think the answer is the coronavirus has slowed down just about everything other than a 24-hour news cycle. And so, it becomes difficult when our people are working remotely and we're really, our resources are stretched thin right now, just trying to make sure that we can stand up things that are going on inside of our state and at the local government level. So, I would say that a lot of the things that we're dealing with have to some extent, taken a bit of a back burner. Look, I'm hopeful that we're all, in the not so distant future, we'll all be returning back to, some sort of normal, maybe a new normal, once we get over this peak.
On that note, you've got a stay-at-home order through the end of the month, though this looks like it could go on much longer. I mean, do you believe that folks in Louisiana and across the country are going to have to stay home much longer than that as this continues?
Well, look, I'm a guy that always looks at the glass as half full, right? I'm an eternal optimist, or I certainly wouldn't run for office. I'm hopeful that our first-line medical providers, the men and women in America who are working diligently for a treatment or for a vaccine or for some sort of relief will get us there, hopefully around the time of the peak. We know that America's healthcare system is first class. It's the best in the world. The concern right now is not that you can't handle the virus. You just can't handle a large amount of infected patients at one particular time. The faster we can flatten that particular curve off, I think, and that, again, that's based upon people being responsible, using the social distance guidelines that the president and governors are putting out, respecting others and recognizing the most vulnerable population out there, and knowing who that vulnerable population is and trying to respect that, I think is the biggest and best thing we can do at this time.